Welcome to the Refrigeration Mentor podcast. Super excited today. We're here at the 2022 CMPX show, and I have my good friend John MacInnis here with me. How you doing, John?
Excellent.
Me and John go way back from my days when I worked at Emerson, and we built a relationship over the years and continue to have a great relationship together. And both me and John are from the East Coast, so we're real friendly guys.
That's right.
So today we're going to be talking about the importance of training and development in refrigeration, because we both really believe that training and education is so important. And you are now the VP of Operations for Valley Refrigeration,
VP
correct?
Of Operations, that's right. Yep.
So John's been a refrigeration mechanic. When did you start in that industry?
1996.
96.
First year apprentice, Sydney, Nova Scotia.
Awesome. Tell me a little bit about your story getting into the trade and your way through the trade.
So, 1997, graduated from Marconi College. Things were different in the 90s. We just got off of a recession. Really hard to find a job. So, a class of 20, I think 4 of us found jobs.
Wow.
A lot different than now.
Yeah.
Right? So found a job, Sydney, Nova Scotia. Worked for a pretty good family-run business, but I'd be working for a month and then I'd be laid off for 2 weeks. Work for another 2 months, be laid off for a month, and that was tough. And I'd be asking the guys, what's that oil failure control? What does that do? What's the red button on that thing do? And really, it was, they were pushing me away. You don't have to know that.
Yeah.
Go cut pipe. Go make a hanger. And 19 years old. Whoa, this is my career. I want to learn. I want to go forward. So then, 1999, I landed in Woodstock, New Brunswick, to build a Loblaws store for 1 month. And
wow.
22 years later, did my apprenticeship. Service manager, construction manager. Now I'm the real growing company CEO, very, very driven.
Awesome.
So now I'm the VP of Operations. I look after pretty well all of the operations. And a big part of the operation with the growth is developing and succession. And if you can promote from within, you've got to be able to, if you can promote from within is great, but you have to be able to develop those people.
Yes.
And that's where, your past life, that's, guys like you were always trying to develop people, and now you're doing it even more.
Yeah.
So we want to embrace that.
So tell me a little bit about Valley. Right now you have over 100 technicians in your organization.
Yep. We've got over 100. We're all across Atlantic Canada. We're right across the Maritimes. We're in New Brunswick, we're in Prince Edward Island, we're in Nova Scotia. We also do work in Newfoundland.
Wow.
Sometimes we'll fly into Labrador City, or we'll go to work in Newfoundland. We partner with some good subcontractors. So remote, one office and workshops, so everybody wears a blue hard hat, round table, and it doesn't matter if it's me as the VP of Operations. I'll go onto a job site and I might be using the Johnson bar.
Yeah.
I might be sweeping the floor. So everybody, everybody's the same. We're all here for the common goal.
Yeah. So why is training and development so important to you and your company and your business? I know you're a hardcore refrigeration mechanic through and through, but why is training and development so important?
So we've got a CEO who wants to grow, wants to be the biggest, wants to be the best. Great to be behind that. Salespeople can make us grow and make us be the biggest, but we want to be the best. We've got to be able to train. We've got to be able to develop. So every company has to figure out how they're going to develop, and it's a real culture. Whether it's quarterly meetings, annual reviews, and one of the main questions is, how did that person develop? How is their development happening?
Awesome.
So we put it together. How is that person going to develop? We don't want anybody to be boxed in. We want them to move up that set of stairs. Yeah. We want them to be that much more. So we're lucky enough that we're the size we are, and that we're growing. We can afford to do that. Especially in the last couple of years. COVID. So and so has to isolate for 2 weeks. Who's going to fill in for them?
Yeah.
So we weren't developing. You're going to be stuck with a second-year apprentice for the rest of your life. Trevor, you worked construction, like you ran pipe, you bolted cases. You wanted to do that much more.
Yeah.
You wanted to know why are the pipes getting cold?
Yeah.
What do you mean liquid refrigerant? Right? So, yeah, development, succession, very, very, very important.
Yeah. No, I really believe in training and development. And I think it's so important today because I'm similar to you. I started out in industry very early, not knowing anything about refrigeration and just working my way through trying to get better. And I know the struggles that technicians go through out there because there's some companies out there that don't offer training and development and just, they use them as, workers and bodies. But I really believe companies will grow faster when they have trained and developed technicians because it's a dangerous trade. All skilled trades are pretty dangerous. And like ours, we work with electrical, we work with chemicals. And it's so important, especially when they're younger, in the younger years, to get that, that training and just getting an understanding of the safety of our industry. What do you guys do for safety at Valley?
Oh, so safety is right in our mission statement.
Yeah.
The way we look at safety and the way that we preach, and it's in our culture. We want you to wear your safety glasses because you only have two eyes. Trevor, you have 3 kids at home.
Yeah.
You want to watch them growing up?
Yeah.
Do you want to? How are you going to bag that buck? You're a hunter. How are you going to do that if you can't see? Wear your safety glasses.
Yeah.
Want everybody to go home 10 fingers, 10 toes. Everybody has families. So it's wear your PPE or don't drive recklessly because the police are going to pull you over, the safety guy's going to come. No, do it so you're going to go home to your family.
Yeah.
It's just safety is as simple as that.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I did a training last week, an in-person training. There was a young apprentice there, and he was using a grinder without glasses. And I asked him, "Can you stop, please?" And then I just talked to him like, "You should have your safety glasses on," and not to fault him because he's used to not wearing safety glasses and doesn't know. So you can't blame someone who doesn't know. So, and then I explained to him like, if you get metal in your eye, then you're not going to work for a while, and maybe be blind.
Might be blind, yeah.
And so training and development helps that. You know what I mean? And
so you have to figure out your why.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you want to be safe? You want to go home to those babies you have at home, right?
Yeah.
Or you want to go hunting. You want to go skiing. You want to do whatever. So it's the safety, it's why.
Did you have any mentors or coaches over the years, throughout your years as a refrigeration technician, who helped you out, who taught you stuff, or you looked up to help develop your skills?
Oh, absolutely. Quite a few, actually.
Yeah.
You think we all look at different people and who can we pull from?
Yeah.
That person there, like they know about cooling towers. I'm going to reach out to that person. So that's why you got to be nice to everybody. So there is one, actually, he's an instructor down at MBCC St. Andrews.
Okay.
Never ever taught me. I send text messages to him at least once a week to get his feedback from
Awesome.
something, and with hopes that I sent him a picture this week from a store I visited here in Ontario. We're bantering back and forth at 9 o'clock at night with hopes that he's going to go into one of his classes and talk about what we see. So Eric
Awesome.
Elfson, yeah, he's been, Eric,
Yeah.
Eric from St. Andrews. He's been great for the whole industry.
Awesome.
Not just me, not just Valley, but the whole industry.
The
whole
he's
country really.
doing a great job.
Yeah.
I know that Sean Spencer just started at NBC.
Yeah, that's a big win for our New Brunswick right there.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
He's an excellent trainer and really cares about teaching and developing technicians out there and helping build their skills.
Yep.
And he's bringing a lot of commercial refrigeration knowledge.
Old school. What we really wanted was a refrigeration mechanic. We wanted a refrigeration mechanic, somebody who works with big compressors and knows what floodback is.
Yeah.
He knows how to do the wiring, the controls. So Sean checked off a lot of boxes. That's a big win for the Maritimes right there.
Yeah.
We stole from Ontario and we got them down there. Right? Yeah.
No, I love that. What are some of the things that some trainings you've done over the years that you really help you? Was there any associations and trainings you went, because there used to be lots of different things in years ago, which aren't today, but what are some of the training and development things you did to develop yourself?
Sure. So back when I first got in, we had RSES, Refrigeration Engineers Society.
Yeah.
Refrigeration Service Engineers Society. And we used to meet up monthly, quarterly. There'd be meetings. We'd pay dues, and we'd bring in, Andre Patino, Garth Dennison, bring in some speakers,
Yeah.
and that was really all that we had.
Yeah.
Then the internet took over.
Yeah.
That's where we get information now. So, not many people go to get the book off of the shelf and to brush off the dust. No, we're all on the Google now.
Yeah.
So this shift and a little bit of reset here in the last 2 years. Guys like yourself, and there's guys just like yourself that are influencing others, and they're creating quite a following on social media, and it's all positive stuff. Like, there'll be a bunch of us geeks dialed in on a Wednesday night. We're learning about how to lower head pressure and why we should lower head pressure. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, no, I think that's really important. It's only in the last, say, 5 to 7 years where I really wanted to start learning about refrigeration. Maybe I grew up and, you know what I mean, I got a little bit older and wiser, but I really believe that more technicians need to invest in themselves.
That's right.
A lot of the times, like training and development programs from even contractors, a lot of technicians are like, oh, well, I can do that later, or I'll learn that later. But I think today is the day to start training and development. What do you guys try to do at Valley to help motivate those technicians that, maybe new or maybe been doing it for like 15 or 20 years to learn about some new technology, or motivate them to...
Going to be honest, it's an uphill battle.
Yeah.
It's an uphill battle. Years ago, we'd have one of our wholesalers would bring a guest speaker in from somewhere. We'd go, we'd eat pizza, we'd stay there at night, and then we'd all chat afterwards, and we'd really learn a lot. And there's been kind of a breakaway from that. And even myself, I only have so much of a budget for training.
Yeah.
And safety chews up a lot of it.
Yeah.
But we have to invest in ourselves. So this over the last 2 years, we've really learned that we can, we can get on a podcast, or we can get on a Teams call. There's people out there that are great to chat with. Like the guys are listening to podcasts while they're driving. They got the headphones in.
Yeah.
I'm not that far advanced, but you know what? I'm going to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
I'd like to geek out over this stuff.
Yeah. No,
right? And there's many of us that do.
And I think that's super important inside of a company, is to really teach them, and maybe they can teach you as well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like the older technicians or people that has been in the field for a long time, about these new technologies, about because once again, you got to continue to learn, because our industry is changing at such a rapid pace.
Yep.
And what we know today may be different technology tomorrow, right? So it's really important for me is to build my skills so I can help share it with other people.
And we have to look into the future.
Yeah.
Shows like this, CMX show, we're able to look into the future a little bit. Get on over in those talks over in the other booth. Listen to Andre and talk about what's going on in Europe, what's going on in the U.S. It's going to happen here.
Yeah.
So you got to stay in front of it.
Yeah. No, and I really think that doing events like this is a great place. The CMPX show here is to network and build relationships.
Sure.
Which I don't believe enough technicians do that, and because I didn't do it. I didn't do it in the first 10, 12, 13 years of my career. It was just go to work, and come home, and, just that cycle. But you got to break that cycle at some point, because networking is so important.
Sure.
Building relationships so important. And that's how you can continue to learn.
Yeah.
Like I've learned so much from just sitting at the bar with my buddies, refrigeration mechanics, and just talking about jobs.
Yep.
Talking about it and just learning from different people. And you don't even have to be at the same company,
That's right.
Network with people that work at different companies,
Yep.
and just because everyone learns differently, but they all have different experiences.
It's funny you mentioned that. So in the last 2 years, the apprenticeship classes online.
Yep.
Right? Which is great. You're, with Teams, Microsoft Teams, you're able to share screens. You're able to do it really, really fast. It's really cool. You don't have to run to the photocopier and print everything off. But one thing that they're missing is that camaraderie. Every time we do a block, we'd have 12, 15 people. Same thing. We'd be having beers. would be learning from each other. So somebody in the class, we're going over low pressure receivers. I've never seen one in my life. Don't even know what it looks like, but we've got somebody there who did ammonia work. Well, that person's going to take over, or me, a supermarket guy. I'm going to be able to talk about parallel compressors, or somebody who does residential work be able to talk about reversing valves. That's one part, and I think it's going to adjust. I think it's going to catch up. Rather than the instructor just speaking, want everybody to speak. So I think that's going to happen.
So
that's going to happen.
Do you do a lot of training yourself as an instructor?
I'm not an instructor.
Yeah.
Heavens no. I'm not an instructor.
Yeah.
No. I guess I'd like to think that I coach our shop foreman.
Yeah.
Coach the more experienced people. But then again, I'm the vice president of operations. I'm not the best mechanic at Valley Refrigeration. Definitely not.
Yeah.
But do we have one person that? No, we've got many people who can do many different things. I might not know the answer, but you know what? I know who does.
Yeah.
I'm going to get back to you. I'm going to give you this phone number.
Yeah.
And that's the culture that we have to have when we hire somebody. The first thing I'll say to an apprentice, okay, here's a company cell phone. Take it and use it. Get rid of your other one. Well, I got my music on there and I got my friends. Doesn't matter. We've got 10 gigs of data. Call your brother in California. It doesn't matter. We want you to have that phone on because you might be able to help somebody else.
Yeah.
And I'll ask them, how much did you pay for that? What's your monthly cell phone bill? $100? Yeah, $100. Buy tools with that. $100 a month worth of tools. Get rid of that phone. Use the company phone. We encourage that, but we want you to have it on.
Yeah.
Hey, you just worked on this thing. What did you do?
Yeah.
And if it can get me home faster, or if I can learn something from you, for sure.
And I think that's what training and development's all about. And I tell so many technicians, I'll help teach you how to be with your family more. A lot of people think, it's taken so much time to learn these new skills in refrigeration, but the whole purpose of it is to teach you to have more time and not have so much stress on you. I had a lot of stress as a supermarket mechanic going into a store and there's nothing running. There's no sound. That's a bad sign.
I love that sound. Because it's easy. It's an electrical problem. Right? I love the quiet compressor rooms. You're gonna be in and out pretty fast after you do your checks.
Well, yeah. Well, it could be anything though. It could be that holdback valve stuck. You know what I mean?
So that's right. Yeah. Oil problems. That's a different kettle of fish. You might be there, or leak.
Yeah.
They're the tough ones.
But the training and development is so important, and I keep talking to more apprentices and technicians and journeymen. I really believe we need more continued professional development for seasoned technicians, which there was none. There's still, I don't believe there's anything. My wife's a massage therapist, and every so many years she has to do so much hours towards her trade.
Yep.
And it's like most trades, and I'm really hoping that the refrigeration industry can catch up, because I believe that we do need to spend some hours training on our own time and develop our skills so we are better and make the industry better so we can grow and share our knowledge.
What's wrong with investing in yourself?
Yeah.
And you can take that training with you wherever you go. You're going to work for the federal government on a ship. You take that training with you.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you invest in yourself?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? To dial into a Zoom call or to follow a podcast. Why not?
Yeah.
There's no reason.
Yeah.
Some of us older guys, we've got to learn about podcasts. We've got to get into it. But we really, when you like things, you tend to geek out. We love talking shop. We love sitting at the bar. We love talking about the problem that we had. Or what the solution that we did to overcome the problem.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, this is it's only getting better and better and better from guys like you.
Awesome. Well, thank you. So let's talk about some. You talked earlier about when you hire on a new apprentice. What's kind of your approach and your team? I guess because you have a team underneath you. What kind is your team approach to help this new person come on for training and development to try to get them, to get into the culture that you guys have at Valley?
So we have certain tasks. So you first get hired. It's really shadowing.
Yeah.
So we have some tasks of a first year apprentice and boxes that have to be checked before you go on to the next.
Okay.
Another thing is in between blocks at Valley Refrigeration, you wait 4 seasons. So typically, the way that training is done now, with apprenticeship, we go to school in September.
Yep.
Then anything that you learn during those 7 or 10 weeks, you work 4 seasons. Because each season is going to throw a whole bunch of different curveballs at you. Whether it's minus 40 or plus 40.
Yeah.
It's really gonna change things.
Yeah.
And then we, it's almost a set of stairs. We have certain tasks. Trevor, you're new, and you've been working with us for a year. You know what? You're gonna go on your own. You're gonna start work doing the water leaks. Okay. You're gonna go and repair the water leaks. Yep, it's not really refrigeration, but it is.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna go. We work on coffee machines. Yep, it's not really refrigeration, but there's thermistors, there's electrical,
Yeah.
there's water, there's steam,
Yeah.
there's electronics,
Yeah.
there's customer service, there's driving a van. So that is development, and that's a way to fast forward people.
Oh,
So we're lucky enough now. We're doing a lot of retrofits.
Okay.
Okay, large client of ours doing many retrofits. We're swapping out our 507 to our 449.
Okay.
Tell you lots of glide
Yeah.
in 449, and lots of changing power heads, changing TX valves, a lot of prep work. So we're taking apprentices out of service work, and we're throwing them in there.
Awesome.
So they get to, they're pumping systems down. They're, making sure the valves are tight, dialing the superheat in. Not only are they dialing the superheat in at the case, they make an adjustment here at the case, and then they're checking to see what it does to the compressor.
Nice.
Not just at the compressor, but what's happening on the discharge line.
Yeah.
So a move here there's gonna be a chain reaction. It's gonna make a big difference there. With this new gas, with the glide, it makes a real big difference.
Yeah.
So I think it's really fast forwarding. One of the things, our annual reviews, we have a tool list.
Okay.
Okay, tools that we supply, tools that you supply or you should have.
Yeah.
You don't have a set of gauges, you're not going to be much of a mechanic. Right? If you don't have a thermistor, how are you going to be a refrigeration mechanic if you do not have a thermistor?
Yeah.
Superheat is very important. Subcooling is very important, right?
Yeah.
So that's how we do our checks and balances, and it's in our culture. Okay, Trevor, what do you mean you don't have a thermistor? Well, I lost it a year ago. How you been setting superheats?
Yeah.
How you been checking things? So it doesn't take long when the culture. Oh yeah, okay, I got to buy one.
Yeah.
You broke it. The company's going to buy you a new one, whatever it is. But you need the tools to do the job.
Yeah. No, and that's very important. And I talk with a lot of my friends too, and influencers in the U.S., and they do lots of videos. Like my friend Chris Stevens from HVACR videos, and he was like, Trevor, I don't use gauges all the time. I don't need to use gauges. I can use my temperature probe. And same with Kevin Compass from the
Sure.
Advanced Refrigeration Podcast. He's like, Trevor, I haven't used gauges in a long time. I use my pressure and temperature probes. And now when I'm walking through the building, I can see the superheat,
He's right.
30 feet, 100 feet, 200 feet away.
Yep.
And now I can be monitoring the system while I'm working on being way more efficient and effective. So there's some people I don't want to go to digital gauge and I'm staying on analog, but there's advantages to that, and that comes with training and development.
There is, but we've got to be careful as well. We want, you and I both want, old school guy, analog. I'm an analog guy, but I want that person, that apprentice, that young person to be able to know how to calculate superheat.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to understand what the pressure is, what the temperature is, to convert it and subtract it. I've been seeing some that don't actually know.
Yeah.
So with these retrofits that we're doing, they've got the cordless thing, and it goes onto your phone, and you can see the superheat. We gave PT charts to everybody.
Oh, good.
This is what we do.
Okay.
You figure it out. Figure out your superheat. You're on the dual temp bunker. Hey guys, it's the same pressure everywhere.
Yeah.
Now you just need your temp probe.
Yeah.
So, going around the booths here, everything's Bluetooth, and we can see it on our phone. It's great, but I want them to figure out that superheat. Maybe I'm too old. I don't know, but I want them to be able to figure out that superheat or figure out that subcooling, not just from looking at it.
Yeah, no, 100%.
That's great, Kevin Compass. Yes, that guy, he knows. he knows. But the second year apprentice, we want to make sure that they understand what superheat is and the adjustment here, what's going to happen over here, what's going to happen in your condenser.
Yeah.
It flows, doesn't it?
Yeah, the fundamentals is so important, and lots of people. I do so many trainings, and a lot of people, oh, basics, Trevor, oh, fundamentals. But when you dive into the basics and the fundamentals, and you deep dive, even when people, because even I'll tell you, 12 years in, I didn't really know the basics and the fundamentals as good as I should have.
Sure.
And when I really dove in, glide. What's
Guilty.
glide?
Guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty. Yeah.
With glide, like understanding glide, like that needs to be in that training and development approach.
That's right.
Because it's changing very fast. New refrigerants are coming out all the time, and as refrigeration technicians and mechanics, we need to be able to adjust and understand that basic theory. Because refrigeration's refrigeration. You know, things will change, but you need to understand those basic fundamentals.
We should have got into, before we started doing these retrofits, hindsight, I wish we would have done a little more to teach about glide, you know, other than something that you read about when you were in Block 2.
Yeah.
You know, we probably should have done that beforehand. But you know what? Now the guys are going home at night. They're going to the hotel and they're seeing what glide is. It's what John or Trevor or Steve, what they're talking about, what glide is.
Yeah.
You know, so it's good stuff. It's good stuff. But hindsight's 2020. You know, like I said, I wish we would have putting something together.
Well, you do it now, right?
Bingo.
There you go. Do
Bingo.
it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I really want to talk a little bit more about training and development for senior technicians and what you would like to see for like more experienced technicians, either at Valley or in the industry, because you're well connected with a lot of people that train, educate in our refrigeration industry. What would you like to see for maybe more experienced guys to help them develop their skills?
I don't know. That's the $1 million question. You know, like in the last few years, it's CO2. That's what we're moving on to.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking and feeling and touching and reading and watching YouTube videos. You know, we're trying to get ready for it, and we're learning it, and we're learning it on site. You know, but we just priced a CO2 project last week, and I called one of our mechanics. He's pretty good at CO2, and I said, you know, hey, just pricing this job up, pretty big job. Are we going to be able to start this thing up, or are we going to have to bring the factory in? Are we there? Don't you dare bring the factory in. I'll go there for a week. We're not bringing the factory in. We're doing it.
Awesome.
So fantastic. So we have to make sure that guys like that are around.
Yeah.
You know, with CO2, we have a few champions of CO2. So when it comes time for maintenance, they're coming around.
Yeah.
You know, they're coming around and they're grabbing a new group with them each time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not great at CO2 refrigeration, but I'm competent.
Yeah.
You know, but I know who is. I know who is great at it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and we do have. So you spread the knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, but an employer can only go so far.
Yeah.
You know, us as mechanics, we have to invest in ourselves.
Yes.
You know, but some of the problems is watching videos, learning about Microsoft Teams. Okay, so we're using Microsoft Teams. We have many branches. Got some instructions. I'm trying to learn how to do it. And there's many videos. They're 90-second videos. By the time I get to about 21 seconds, I've checked out. I'm thinking about something else. Right?
That happens.
So, but I'm not interested in it.
Yeah.
You know, so the live, the podcast, and especially when it's another refrigeration mechanic. Not just somebody from a manufacturer, you know. Us refrigeration mechanics, we hold that above all else. Like we put RSE behind our name. You know, that's a refrigeration mechanic right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's one of the things about my training and development. Like I remember when I did my HVAC program, then I got into refrigeration, and I'm like, that was my focus for 4 or 5 years. Like, I want to become a red sealed refrigeration mechanic, and
something to be proud of.
Oh, very proud of it. And that's one thing that I tell technicians: work really hard for it, and when you get there, continue to learn. And it's only, and like you said it earlier, it's really up to the mechanic to where they want to take themselves.
Yeah. So training is tough. You know, we'll take training on R290. You know, propane.
Yeah.
You know, we'll take it now, and a year down the road, you've got to work on it.
Yeah.
That's a long time to go.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing we have to be careful with training as well.
Yeah,
You
so
know,
and that's one thing about continuing development, right? Maybe it's a little workshop here and there, and I keep talking with technicians like you got to find the stuff out too. You can't just rely on the business owner or the company find a training out for you as a professional refrigeration mechanic. You need to take the time to find different courses that are going on,
yeah,
different YouTube channels, different podcasts like you talked about earlier, and try to develop your skills. And what I continue to tell more and more is, network with your wholesalers, your supply
That's right.
houses, talk to any manufacturers in the area, talk to the local schools. Like I'm working with a company out in BC, and he was like, Trevor, like I got compressors that I want to donate to a school. Who do I reach out to? So I connect them with that. You know what I mean? And building those relationships will work towards this, the development of that relationship,
That's right.
which will lead to, more valuable relationships.
Yep, absolutely.
So John, let me ask you a question. Like, what advice would you give to a new technician or a mechanic starting out in industry? So, what's something that you would like to, that you wish you would have done when you were younger, but what would some advice you'd give someone just starting out?
I usually scare people away when I get this question. I go around to different tech schools and show up to work on time. Your boots are tied. Invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Invest in your tool pouch. Especially if you're 20 years old. You're living in your parents' basement. That's when you can afford it. So each month buy certain tools. To be ready for the next one, because when the kids come, that money's going to hockey or soccer or whatever, or you're trying to get married, but do it young, have the tools, and go all in.
Yeah.
Go all in, and get in the middle of there shouldn't be any refrigeration mechanic out there that's not going to answer a question.
Yeah.
Really, I want to take that red seal away from you if you're not going to answer a question to somebody who's trying to learn.
Yeah.
It goes against everything right across the country, really.
Yeah.
That's it's part of mentorship. Working with a committee in Atlantic Canada, it's called the Atlantic Harmonization Project. So we've created curriculum for all 4 Atlantic provinces. Same curriculum.
Wow. Same
testing. We're going to May. We're going to develop questions for the Block 3 exam for all 4 Atlantic provinces.
Wow. So now, is that launched now?
Yes. So this fall, it's going to be the new Block 1. So somebody in small population in Prince Edward Island, they might have to wait 2 years to get into the Block 2 or the Block 3. Now they can go to St. Andrews, New Brunswick. They can go to Halifax. They can go wherever.
That's awesome.
And with with Microsoft Teams and Zoom, they probably can do quite a bit of it from home.
Yeah.
And not just wait, because a lot of it's government funding, and we have to wait. They're not going to put a class on for one person.
Yeah.
But hey, New Brunswick has 4 seats left. Here, PEI, go over there and get the training.
That is awesome. That's
so
awesome.
trying to make it the same everywhere, but some of those questions, they have teeth in them.
Yeah.
They have teeth, so you have to know how to calculate superheat to answer some of these questions, right?
Yeah.
And
I like it. It definitely goes back to the fundamentals. And I talk to lots of people who are about to write their CFQ or their interprovincial exam.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you got to go back to the fundamentals, really understand the fundamentals, and then the rest of the stuff will fall into place.
Yeah, so really with I've been lucky enough to be involved with apprenticeship, and all 4 blocks are like you've got to attend the training.
Yeah.
You have to get into those formulas, and you have to know what latent heat is.
Yeah.
The interprovincial exam is really you had to have your set of gauges on that thing. You had to scratch your head for a long time to really understand what's happening inside of that, which is great. It goes onto your experience.
Yeah.
Pressures and temperatures and what's happening here, and where why is the head of the compressor so hot? Right? So sometimes they say it's an art, not a science. I don't know. I think it's more of a science than an art, really.
Yeah, it's all about facts. It's all about facts.
Exactly. Exactly.
No, assume I learned.
That's a cop out. More of an art than a science.
Yeah. Well, I did a lot of assuming in my days in the field, and when I worked at Emerson, I worked with Greg Swears, and he's like,
Yep,
Trevor,
yep.
there is, it's all about facts. There's no assuming. You don't have to assume. It's all numbers. It's all pressures and temperatures, and
Yep.
that stuff. There's no assuming.
The first, worked with the first generation of Valley. One of the owners, George, he was our service manager. You call him for help way too early. This is happening. This is happening. Well, what's your discharge temperature? Well, I don't know. Click.
Yeah.
Tough love. Right?
Yeah. and that's fair. I like. Let's go back maybe a little bit of the conversation. I like what you were saying about buying tools
Yep.
as an apprentice starting out, because when I first started out, I didn't have any money for tools. I went to Canadian Tire and bought my first
Absolutely.
tool.
Perfect.
But when I started to make money, I knew I needed to invest, buy better cutters, buy better meters, buy better temperature probes. So any apprentice out there, you may not be able to get it your first year, but you start making money, you got to invest. Take a percentage of your money and put it back. Just like you said, I really like what you said there, John, is put it back into your trade, into your development.
That's right.
And learn how to use those tools.
It's going to make life much easier.
Yeah, learn how to use those
Try to
tools.
set that superheat without having a temp probe. Right? Set yourself up for success.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation because both of us believe in training and development. And we know the more training you get, the more you want to learn, the more you want to educate, the more better you're going to be at your field and in refrigeration or in HVAC. It doesn't matter what industry or trade you're in. I think that training and development is going to help you grow as a technician.
Not just as a technician, companies are going to thrive.
Yeah.
They're going to thrive. We're going to be the best. We're all going to be the best.
Yeah.
You just want to be there or exist, or do you want to thrive?
Yeah.
So let's thrive.
Yeah.
Let's thrive.
I love that.
Let's be the best.
I love that because it'll take you. It can take you anywhere. Refrigeration mechanic can take you anywhere in the world. It has taken me there, and all you have to do is put a little effort each day.
Yep.
And grow that knowledge, man. John, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with me today
Yeah,
and talking
yeah.
about why training and development is so important. If anybody wants to reach out to you, where can they reach out to you for?
I don't really do the Facebook or Instagram thing.
That's okay.
But Valley Refrigeration, we're down in Atlantic, Canada.
Yeah.
And who knows, 4 or 5 years, might be that much further.
Yeah. So check out Valley Refrigeration. Check out their website. Check out their Facebook page.
Yep.
John, thank you so much for
Awesome.
hanging out at the Refrigeration.
Awesome.
Master
Glad to
podcast.
support. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Cool.